So now because everybody on the dire side went to top lane for the tower, he switched over from the top jungle to the bottom jungle because that's where it's safe. Now he has radiance. He's probably telling his team to go fight so he can use his radiance and take the fight right away, because when you have radiance, you've hit this big power spike and you really want to win this next team fight. Today we got a special replay. We're gonna be watching a very specific hero. This is actually IOTW from Virtus Pro playing Spectre. And one of the reasons why I want to watch this replay is someone in chat said that they would like to see how this hero is played, because in lower MMR games it's an extremely powerful hero. So I'm gonna watch this replay of a professional playing Spectre from beginning, middle, end, so you know exactly what you gotta do to play as well as a pro does, and hopefully you can gain a lot of MMR doing this. And if you like our content, please do like, subscribe, follow, whatever it may be. And if you want to ask any questions, you guys can always come to my Twitch stream. I stream 6 days a week. I'll be very happy to answer any questions you may have. Alright, so to start off this game, one thing to see is like the support he's playing with is going to be Winter Wyvern. He's playing against two carries, two very hard carries, Morphling and a Faceless Void. Start of the game, Spectre, he's buying Tangles, Ring of Regen, Quelling Blade, Enchanted Mango. So he's got a lot of regen going right now. You can see here he's got 7.2 HP regen already at the start of the game. And because of the courier, everyone has a courier, he can always buy more Tangles if he needs to and bring it out to him. But in the beginning, he already wants to have very high HP regen. And his purpose in the laning stage is not to like try and kill the enemy, but more on focus on his own farm. So you can see here, he had a chance to get a last hit with his dagger and at the same time harass someone. He used it there, so because he couldn't actually get that melee creep in any other way. So you can just see here, he's kind of just lingering in the fight. If someone comes to him, he'll hit him back. But if not, he just wants to keep the wave back here and just keep last hitting and getting his levels up. Because that's pretty much the most important thing for a hero like Spectre. You can see here, again, he's just using his dagger to like get that little bit of extra damage, and then right click to finish off the creep so the enemy cannot deny it as well. And that goes to show how much he's valuing his creeps more than just like trying to kill people or focus on the heroes in this lane. So his support is getting harassed, he's okay, he doesn't feel too bad about that. He kind of just wants to get last hits. So it's a really tough lane fighting up against Nature's Prophet and Bounty Hunter. So what you can do in these kind of situations is like when melee creeps are getting low, you can always right click the enemy hero and drag the creeps to you, so that you're not getting harassed too much by the Nature's Prophet. And if you are, then you can just let the Nature's Prophet tank up all the creeps that are next to him. So here the NP tried to go on him, so he fought bottom back with the support. And he's not getting too many last hits in this lane, which happens very often when you play Spectre. But that's okay, because you're like an actual late game beast and your early levels is pretty much your weakest points in the lane. But as you can see here, the NP went back to base to heal because RTW focused on harassing him there when he was getting harassed. And that gave him a little bit of time to pick up 3 more last hits just like that. Now he's up to 8 already. And you can see here, he's brought more stats for himself with the snippers and the circlet. He just wants to get at least one Wraith Band. So you got that little bit of extra damage, attack speed, HP. Like Wraith Band is just a very nice item, at least to have one of in this kind of game. For Spectre. Sometimes if you're playing Spectre and you're fighting against a lot of magic damage heroes, like Zeus or something, you can go Bracer as well. He can give you magic resistance, which will be very helpful for you. And you can see here, like he's always hitting the enemy Nature's Prophet to drag, or right-clicking him to drag the creep towards him. So he's pulling aggro non-stop in this lane, so that his range creep can either get denied or he can farm or get last hits in a much safer position. And as you can see here, his 7 HP regen from the Ring of Regen and the Mango that he had earlier really sustained him a lot throughout this laning stage. And now he's brought more Tangles and Wraith Bands. In laning, you really want to bring more Tangles to yourself, because Spectre, the most important thing is definitely to just get some last hits, but at the same time getting levels. Because the higher level you are, the harder you become to kill. And you can see here his level ups. Level 2, he took Dispersion for the damage. Like all the reflected damage means that you also don't take that damage, so it's like another tanking spell. And then he took 1 point Desolate for either the extra damage to last hit creeps with, or to do damage to the heroes. And then level 4 he took Spectral Dagger. This is your kind of like chasing tool of the enemy heroes and also a farming tool as well. And you can see after level 1 he didn't really use that many daggers because obviously he didn't have that much mana either. But here the Bounty Hunter has left the lane, so he starts targeting the Nature's Prophet. And let's not forget, like, this Nature's Prophet is Resolution. He's a very good player. He's playing often. He's applying a lot of pressure. But you can see his last hits, the way that he's been playing up until now, always constantly pulling the creeps to him and farming from a safe position. He has 25 last hits already on this Spectre, even though he's fighting up against Nature's Prophet and Bounty. And what happens with offlaners is naturally they will all leave the lane. And when they leave the lane, that's the time where Spectre is farming a lot. And you can see here, he's just casually like controlling the lane, denying creeps, getting last hits. He's not too focused on pushing the lanes out at this moment because he's only level 4. He's not gonna go jungle as a level 4 hero when he play Spectre. And his next item he completed was a soaring. So this gives him strength and HP regen, and at the same time pretty much infinite mana to be able to cast daggers. Very good item for him. And as you can see here, level 5 Spectre with the Wyvern, able to kill off that NP, but he does die here because the Void and the Rubik also rotate down to this lane. But that's okay because he still got a kill on the NP, and early game getting these kills on Spectre is always going to be very huge because this is a hero who peaks in the mid game and the late game, and is not a hero who's that strong in the early game. And now because there is a Faceless Void who TP bottom, he decides to TP top because he feels that's the safest lane for him to farm. And obviously as a carry, the other heroes give him the lane. And now he's not going to be pressured that much because all the heroes were obviously in the bottom lane. If he goes back bottom and fights against a level 7 Void, that's very bad for him. So he goes to the place on the map where he can fight someone who's weak, which was the top lane. And that's where also the Nature's Prophet went. And suddenly with the Phoenix and the Tiny, they were able to get another kill. And they just kind of want to let the Spectre stay around top and just farm at this point. And as more people come to the top lane, they're just annoyed that there's a Spectre here, so they just keep TPing after him, but his team is always ready to fight with him at this point. I think Dire are making a mistake by doing so. They should just focus on trying to take the bottom tower or the mid tower and just leave the Spectre be top lane. Now Spectre doesn't get a lot of kills in these fights, but because he just keeps using Spectral Dagger, it's very helpful to his team because it slows down the enemy and it also gives vision. So that's really nice for his team, for him to be in these team fights just like that casually. And all of a sudden he's got like 5 assists while he's just farming creeps casually top, because everybody keeps coming to him in this lane and trying to stop him from farming because they know how scary it is if a Spectre does get farmed, right? And the Spectre did TP top. So his next item after soaring is Power Treads. So this is a very good item on Spectre because it allows you to tread switch. You can go strength treads and then you click your soaring, then you go in treads. So you lose less HP on strength treads and you use in treads to get more mana to activate Spectral Dagger, and it's super efficient with soaring. And you can see here how he's daggering, using his Spectral Dagger. He was here, he angled the dagger this way so it hits 2 camps at the same time. And then here he angled the dagger this way since this camp is dead, so you can walk faster along the Spectral Dagger to farm faster. All these small farming things is gonna help you a lot in hitting your peak in this game. So here he TP's top, or he uses haunt to fight top with the Phoenix, but it was a bad haunt. The Faceless Void came in there and killed him, unfortunately. So not so good for him to have 2 deaths at this point in the game, but that's okay. Next thing he does is TP's mid lane. So you can see on the minimap here that there's fights top, bottom is all the way pushed out here. So the best thing to do is go mid, clear a creep wave out, and go jungle right away. Right? He's always thinking about what the fastest farming but safest farming area is for himself. So he just kills the creeps and then instantly will just go jungle. Right? Just want to keep getting your experience up, and as long as your haunt's on cooldown, you don't need to think too much about joining team fights. When your haunt is up, that's the time you need to be looking around on the map to see where you need to go to fight. And already his next item he queues up is his Radiance, probably the most iconic item for Spectre, because it helps all his haunt illusions get the Radiance, and also it's a very good item for doing damage. A Spectre is not a burst hero, he's a hero who does damage over time and tanks a lot in the late game, and Radiance is like the best item for that, for farming and for dealing damage. So here he sees a Morphling middle, top lane pushes in, he TPs there, takes that farm, instantly again goes into the jungle. And he's always daggering the angle where he's gonna go next to farm. So he daggers downwards here because he's gonna farm this camp and he's gonna go to the next camp over here right away, which is very nice. And then again, dagger to the next camp here, hit 2 camps this time, and also gives them extra movement speed to get to that camp faster. And he's always doing the same thing: strength treads, soaring, then in treads use your dagger, then agi treads kill the camp. And here he just farms casually in this very safe area. He doesn't want to go bottom because the enemy has taken over that. And he's just sticking around his team here, seeing if he can use any daggers. But he's also has a haunt ready, so he's always, when you have haunt ready, it's very important you look at the fights and see if there's a chance for you to haunt in and maybe either secure a kill for your team or help your team fight a little bit, because you're still strong even if you don't have items. So we're gonna go to the player perspective of Spectre. Go back here and let's see what he's looking at, right? So we're gonna go to 1x speed here. He's going top, he wants to farm, but he's looking bottom, seeing if he can TP there to farm as well. He sees middle, there's a big fight brewing, and then he's thinking about haunting into this fight. Sees that there's no real angle to haunt. Look at his perspective right now. Now he sees that, oh, my storm actually got out, I can TP in here. Clicks haunt, goes on to the Nature's Prophet, wants to secure at least 1 kill if possible. Sees that the Tiny doesn't have his spells up, and he's kind of just sticking around in the outer area of the team fight because he doesn't want to die or get initiated on either, right? But at the same time, his purpose was to see if he can get a good fight. Now, using Haunt also makes the enemy think whether they want to engage into this, because Radiance see all of them because of the Haunt, right? So they kind of back off as well at the same time. There's also like a fear factor, and he did help in getting that Nature's Prophet killed, so it was huge. Now he just goes casually back to the top lane and keeps farming. Again, your Haunt is down, your job is to figure out like how you can farm as fast as you can, because the faster you get your Radiance, the quicker your timings will be to take good team fights with your team and do pretty much the most amount of damage in every engagement. And here, after he pushes top off, someone goes there, he instantly TPs mid. There was a creeper pushing there, farms that, and then again goes back into a jungle. Same thing, dagger to hit either 2 camps or dagger in a way that it will lead into your next place that you will move to. And again, top lane got pushed back out by the NP, and he was already rotating towards the top lane because he knows that's where the creep waves are going to be next, because his NP was already pushing that lane out. And just casually farming up here. He's got Relic now, right? He's got 2 deaths and 1 kill only, but all of a sudden, 90 minutes, he's got a Relic, all thanks to like the way that he's been playing and farming. Again, top lane. So he goes back, farms the jungle, goes back to the top lane because NP keeps pushing that lane out into him. Back again to the jungle, and now right now all he's thinking is about how to finish his Radiance first, and he doesn't, even though he has on top, he doesn't want to use it because he wants to finish his Radiance before he uses Haunt. It'll be much more efficient. And you can see here he takes the Nether Shawl because it gives him magic resistance, and then once he does get the Radiance, it'll give him some spell damage. It's going to be very nice for us in this game because there's actually an item that can make him tank here, right? So now, because everybody on the dire side went to top lane for the tower, he switched over from the top jungle to the bottom jungle because that's where it's safe. Now he has Radiance. He's probably telling his team to go fight so he can use his Radiance and take the fight right away, because when you have Radiance, you've hit this big power spike, and you really want to win this next team fight. So here his team is fighting, and I'm just gonna go to his perspective so we can watch how he will take this team fight. So you guys can also watch what he's doing, right? So he TP's top, but at the same time he sees that his team is engaging on his minimap, looks at the team fight, instantly haunts because he sees a Rubik low HP, goes there. Then he switches his haunt onto the Morphling because the Rubik died. And this is what the engagement is, right? He wanted to get this Radiance and tell his team to go fight right away. And now with his team, because they killed 2 heroes, they're just chasing down the enemy, get 2 more kills, get 3 kills actually. Morphling dead, Rubik dead, Bounty dead. And they can just connect that into a tower. Just like that. And now after, again, it's like the same pattern over and over, right? You have to always think, okay, haunt down, go farm. Haunt up, think about how to fight. And just keep doing that, because this hero can't really take towers either that fast. So here there's an engagement in the mid lane, and he actually wants to fight because he feels extremely strong, and he thinks this engagement will last a long time. So he daggers a bounty hunter, chases him down, Doesn't get him. He wants to get maybe some bigger kills because the bounty went invisible and ran away. Here comes a Chronosphere, but he feels really good because he's tanky, right? And also, when you're in an engagement and the enemy's trying to fight you, stay on Strength Treads because it gives you extra HP. It's very important that you're very tanky and not sitting on Agi Treads in the middle of a fight. Unless you're just chasing them and you know that they have no chance of turning around and attacking you. And he went middle, he helped out his team, and then he went back into a jungle and kept farming. Because, again, he just wants this haunt up, right? That's his next goal. So here he's got pretty low mana. He might consider to just TP out or maybe just TP bottom. Because he does have a Soaring and he's got Jelly. So he can really get a lot of mana regen. That's okay. So he might just TP bottom and sees that there's a Nature's Prophet here. So you can just go and farm out this lane and get a lot of farm. And the next item he's getting in this game is actually Blade Mail. Most of the time, Spectres buy Manta because it's a very good damage source. Oh, he actually TP's base and finishes Blade Mail, then goes out to a bottom lane. So, and if you look at his talents, this game he went for 5 all stats and 8 spectral dagger cooldown. I think he went for the 5 all stats because he already has Soaring and Jelly. So here another fight breaks out on the Void. He uses Haunt here, but does already kill that guy, so he haunts to the mid lane. Again, Haunt is up. He wants to fight with his team. And just like that, they get some more kills this game. So the on switch for Spectre is definitely when you get Radiance, right? That's the on switch for you to go fight. And I think the reason why he went for Blade Mail is because it's good against Nature's Prophet and the Morphling. If they try to hit him, he can just click that and then like they're not gonna feel comfortable attacking him. And it also gives him armor, which is very nice. And also, the Morphling, he's gonna go E-Blade at some point, so he's not gonna feel comfortable E-Blading a Spectre who has a Blade Mail. He's gonna activate that when he sees a projectile in the air. So again, goes bottom, pushes that out, goes middle, pushes that out. And then he's always trying to like play near his team, if needed. And you can see the second tally he took is the 8-second Spectral Dagger cooldown. I think you don't ever take the Desolate damage. The Dagger cooldown is way too good, because this spell always gives vision of the enemy and it gives you so much movement speed to chase them down. And what I was saying earlier was that the 5 health regen is nice, but it's not really necessary if you have a Soaring and a Jelly, I think. The 5 to all stats is very nice. Gives you damage, HP, mana regen, and all that good stuff. So now he's got Haunt up, and again, he just always going to be looking for situations where he can just haunt into the fight if something breaks out. But when you're playing with Spectre, it's good to watch a minimap when you have Haunt up and see like when there's like 3 or 4 of your teammates around one area and there's an engagement where they actually the enemy commits, and you should just haunt for them so you can see all the enemy. And it's a really good idea to either haunt and reality to either the hero that your team is going on or the enemy support, so you can kill them right away. So his next item now is gonna be Manta, because Manta is like normally the item you go instead of Blade Mail. So here he uses Haunt and kills the Nature's Prophet with the Storm because it's a big core kill, right? For a core, you can definitely use Haunt if you can secure the kill on him, even if it's like pretty late in the game like this. So you go Manta because your Manta illusions get Desolate, and if they're isolated, your Manta illusions are doing 50 pure damage a hit each one. So that's like 100 pure damage every hit, and Spectre's an agility hero, so he attacks extremely fast. Here we go, the Blade Mail, the Morphling almost killed himself, and right there you can see the reason why the Blade Mail is so good, because the Morphling, if he didn't have Blade Mail and the Morphling didn't take all that damage on himself, he would have stayed there and tried to kill the Spectre. But instead he had to run away because the Blade Mail was off. And here he gets Chronoed, nice ulti from the Wyvern. And he's just kind of sticking in the fight and just tanking it up. And as you can see, he's always staying on Strength Treads in the middle of a fight. He's not even trying to Tread Switch in the middle of a fight, because it's just too dangerous and it's not worth it. Just using Dagger on whoever he can. Whoever he can see in the flashes.
Time is money.
So here, there's someone pushing bottom lane. At the same time though, there's a team fight happening top. So he haunts into this fight here. Haunts on top of the Morphling. wants to put a lot of pressure on him. He knows that the storm can pull him. And the Rubik just died casually to the illusion. So that's really good for him. And they get the Morphling as well. Unfortunately, Faceless Void is split pushing bottom. Somebody else will go stop that. And now he feels comfortable to do Roshan. Also, Roshan takes Desolate damage, so when you get Manta, it's really easy to do Roshan. Because you're doing pure damage to a Roshan. Especially with your illusions too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And then, now that there's an Aegis on the board, he just goes bottom because that's the last towers out. He just wants to see if he can get some objectives and get the enemy to come and fight them outside the base. And he's always looking at the fights, right? This fights he doesn't need to haunt because, you know, their enemy is already dead. No need to haunt in there. He just casually pushes the bottom lane out and now connects to his team and just starts hitting towers. And like this game is a prime example of Spectre hits Radiance and the game becomes like 10 times harder for the enemy. Because every haunt is like the supports are just gonna lose about 500 to 700 health just from the haunt illusion alone. Here he dies top, he got caught out by the Faceless Void. The Faceless Void has Silver Edge, which is a really good counter to Spectre. Because it stops the dispersion damage reflection. So you're taking full damage instead of throwing back 22%. But his team is very strong in this kind of game. His next item is now Skadi. It's really good against Morphling because it allows you to reduce his strength morph gain, like how much health he gains from that. And it also slows down the enemy carries that they have. And again, sometimes in the late game, when you have Haunt up, you can just play far away from your team and split push and then Haunt into the team fight. But you have to make sure that you don't die when you are split pushing by yourself. You should be careful. But you have a lot of ways to get out of the fights. You can just click Manta, dagger, and go into the trees. Or you can just dagger and go into the trees, which is also good enough. Here, fight breaks out. Haunt goes into the fight. Focusing the Morphling down because the supports are too weak on the enemy side, they just die too fast. That's it. That's gonna be it for this game. But yeah, I guess it's the only thing that like LTW wasn't doing in this game, and that's mainly because he didn't need to do it. It's like you can always dagger and go into the trees and escape if you need to split push. The most important thing from this replay is like the item build, what items you start with, what items you go into, and where you're farming on the map, right? When there's heroes who came to his lane bottom, he just left the lane. He went somewhere else to split push or like farm elsewhere. You don't want to fight against strong heroes in the early game because you want to focus on getting farm. And whenever there's an opportunity for you to haunt, go in and cast Spectral Dagger, you should do it. Because it's going to help your team out and it's also going to give you farm and relieve pressure from you if the enemy's dead.